What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mindful Moneymakers podcast, where we host conversations with different thought leaders, creatives, and entrepreneurs all about the different mindset shifts you need to make if you want to live a life by design instead of by default. Today, I'm super excited because this conversation has been a very long time coming. I met this gentleman on TikTok a couple of months ago, and he creates phenomenal content that helps you boost your mindset and really understand what's going on underneath the veil of illusion that society creates to kind of keep you as an employee working in the system, doing things that you hate and living a life unfulfilled. He has a company, a initiative called Tyler's Wellness, and the purpose behind it is to help open-minded individuals turn their talents into income. Today we're talking with Tyler Campbell. How we doing today, man?
Man, I'm really excited to be here. How about yourself?
Oh man, phenomenally well. Everything is going better than planned. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Always, always.
For sure. So I gave him a little glimpse into who you are, but I always want to give you an opportunity to kind of dive in a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where did you start? Where are you now, and where are we headed?
Yeah, perfect. And thank you for the intro, by the way, as well. So currently, actually, let's do a little backstory. So how I got to this point where I'm at right now is at one point I was working a ton of jobs. I thought I was doing like the right thing. I was in college. I was also just kind of developing myself, getting like, better paying jobs and getting promoted through the system and everything. Eventually, ended up at like a nice job at a bank. And I looked back at the experience and I was like, I'm not fulfilled here. And I was like, I don't see where I'm going. I was just kind of following the steps I thought were kind of laid there. And then I just started questioning things. I had a buddy, his name's Will, and he gave me a book to read, which was Think and Grow Rich. And as I was reading that book, it started to get my mind just starting to think a little bit differently. And I'd read it on my way to work. And it inspired me to start just like recording some videos on my Snapchat here and there. And then what happened was people were messaging me saying, "Hey, I love this." And then they started asking like Instagram. So I did that and I started to build this little community. And one day, I was just like at the bank, was not really having like the environment. It was just like really getting me down as far as like everyone kind of being in a stuck mindset, not trying to do anything else. And at that point, I had already started to look into alternative ways to make income, had a little hustle online and was a personal trainer. And also had picked up tons of just side hustle pub. So I was already making my own money on the side, right? And I just kind of on the spot just quit. I was like, I'm done. Because what happened, I had polled everybody and I was like, hey guys, I'm just not really feeling it today. Okay, so I'm like, I got this side hustle that's like really making me some money. And the bank, I mean, it's like, I'm here. Should I quit? And then like I just polled them, yes or no. And they said, yeah. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
peace. And then ever since I just been like doing my own thing and like just reading, studying more books, and then got more of a like a solid like path as I took my own leap there. At that time I didn't really have a solid business. It was all just side hustle stuff, and then Grubhub and DoorDash. And then after that, taking that leap gave me the time to like develop it into a business. And
Mhm.
so as I did that, started still had the following of people looking up to me, then sharing my story with them, and then at time, which is kind of like I said, building a community around it where people are seeing it's possible for themselves. And actually, I have a whole mastermind now. One of my members actually opened their own studio, a fitness studio in the area that we're at, even during COVID. So, really exciting to see everyone's growth in the community.
That's solid and very inspirational. I know that one of my initiatives is to help people to get out of their job and into their dreams. To hear your story about how you just quit cold turkey out of the blue, like you realize this is not for me. I do have other options, and I'm gonna make a choice that's best for me. I think that one of the biggest thing one of the biggest things that hold people back is their lack of awareness to their choices and to their options. They feel like they have to do this one way. And what do you say to that person that doesn't realize that whether they feel like they have options or not, they are choosing to do what they're doing? What do you say to
Mm.
that type of person?
So the person you said that, sorry, it cut off the audio at that last 10, like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I was saying that. What do you say to the person that doesn't realize that their life is a result of their choices? And even though it doesn't seem like they have any options, that they do. What would you say to that person to get them to realize that truth?
Yeah, personally, it comes down to, like you had said, like realizing what your choices are. So you have to first ask yourself, like, what are the decisions that you're actually making today? And how does that, like, within a cause and effect reality, right? What does that look like in the future if you were to keep down this path? Like, imagine doing this every day in a pattern. What does that look like in the future? And is that the future that you want for yourself? And then ask yourself, what that you would like, and then what small steps every single day could you do to move you towards that, whether it be even thinking a new idea is possible and then just exploring that route with a Google search or anything just to get started.
Right. I agree 100%, of course. Uh, what I'm getting is that the first step is opening up your field of awareness, whether it's a Google search, YouTube search, or a book. Do you have any book recommendations? I already know we got Think and Grow Rich. Do you have any other book recommendations for somebody that's just getting started?
Personally, I went through a binge of a ton of books.
You ain't the only one.
Heck yeah. I remember you had said on one of the my little TikToks there that we did a very similar journey. So I'd love to hear some of the book recommendations you have here in a second too. Uh, um, Stanford, 100 Ways to Create Wealth. Now, if you didn't need just one idea, you got 100 in that book. And it's these two people who are, coaches, and they help other people, develop their own ideas. And so you're just literally hearing a coach and their experiences coaching other people on how to better their idea and like get it into something that creates wealth for themselves. And so that was like the next book that I had read after Think and Grow Rich, to really help you start to think that your options are available. And then another one that you can read to start noticing and becoming more self-aware on like your daily habits is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Mhm.
And that'll help you become, just kind of recognize that there are actions, and what sort of triggers your actions essentially is either thoughts or things. You might see a thing which triggers a thought, or you have a thought which then triggers you to go do a thing. So but yeah, those are probably my best recommendations for right now.
Powerful, Jonathan. I hadn't heard about what is it called? The 100 Ways to Build Wealth.
Yeah, 100 Ways to Create Wealth by Sam Beckford.
Got to get that one. And I heard about Atomic Habits. I haven't read it all the way through yet, but that
Hmm.
is a good one for what I did read about, trying understanding the cycle of habits, one, and then being able to hack the system so that it works in your favor. My one of my first books was a book that they've been telling me to read for years, like for school, throughout college and high school. And there were assignments associated with it. I never did it, never read the book. But when I left school, I had to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So it
Hmm.
came across my awareness, and I was like, you know what? Let me go read the book, man. And is a game changer. I mean, the book itself, did do a lot to change my perspective. But I think the biggest part about it was just learning how much I can learn from books in itself, right? So it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was my first taste at just having another perspective. Like there is another way to look at this. There's another way to approach this, and completely just that fact alone, I think, just created a hunger in me to just perspectives. What are the best perspectives that I could take on? So that's why I call myself a perceptionist. But then of course I go down the
Mhm.
path, Think and Grow Rich, and you see a lot of the same ideas echoed throughout the books. They overlap in certain ways, and every time you're exposed to a similar idea or the same idea, it becomes a stronger belief system in you. It starts to change you automatically just by experiencing it often. um, I think that I think that in the personal development community, repetition doesn't really get as much shine as it should, because we go through, wake up at 4 a.m. and you got to meditate and you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm not down in any parts of it. I really cherish and value a lot of the parts of it. But when it comes down to it, if 95% of your life is controlled by your subconscious and you imprint on your subconscious with repetition, why don't we just cut straight to that?
Right.
Just straight
Honestly.
up affirmations, just straight up, just, like I've never talked about it. So what comes up for you when I say that?
Man, it really kind of relates back to the habits, essentially, repetition being that habit. And I really like one, before I get too far into that one, the point that you had brought up before when you're talking about, getting that new perspective from a book and learning that a book can teach you so much.
Right.
That was a really great breakthrough through that I had when I like, first jumped into audiobooks. Cause, I prefer audiobooks over a book because I can just chill
Mhm.
around, maybe driving and just get inspired or whatever. But learning that there's places where you can go to just change your perspective or like literally learn something new, change your life just from a book. So
Right.
um back to the repetition part, yeah, honestly, that is so outshined because essentially it comes down to the core thing of like the things you do often or repeat all the time becomes what you live out, either
Mhm.
be your thoughts, or the actions that them being fit. It's because they have thoughts and actions of a person who would be fit. They think, oh, I need to probably go to the gym today, I haven't worked out, and they also take the action of going to work out. So it's like both
Right.
of them repeated over time creates your results.
Mhm. Right. And
But
it's a shame because a lot of what I do in the affirmation space is like right before I go to sleep, I have this headset thing. This I don't have it with me, but it's like a sleep mask, right? And it's a
mm,
Bluetooth headset, and I just play sleep affirmations. I am wealthy. I am disciplined. I am this. I am that. And as you drift
mhm,
off to sleep, your brain goes through theta mode, right? And it's very
mhm,
open to suggestion. And it's been a very effective way, I think, to start changing my perspective instead of beating myself up for, oh, I didn't go to the gym today, I must be lazy, I must be this. Instead, cut straight to the mustard, have an affirmation playing saying, I am disciplined, I am this. And you get to celebrate those parts of your life where you do show discipline, where you express gratitude, things begin to grow and expand. And you know what I'm saying? So I guess a
mhm.
very big part of this conversation for the people listening is gonna be lean into repetition. Like what you see and what you experience over and over again is going to produce certain results. Garbage in, garbage out. Um,
Mhm.
what came up for you? I saw you had a reaction before we move forward.
Oh man, nah, I was just really liking what you were saying there. I was like, yes, for the listeners, you gotta listen to this right here. That's gold. I was just saying that's fire right there, and couldn't have said it better myself.
I just remember something came up for me. So recently I made that TikTok video, right? You commented on it, and it was a
Mhm,
video responding to a comment that I was getting because I was talking about how your perception, contributes to the pain, or is the pain is based on your perception. And I had the one guy who was like, well, what am I supposed to learn from my cousin getting in a car accident and dying, like that type of pain? And there's always a way. I mean, I know that it's tough and that is hard. So I responded to him. I forgot what I said. But then he followed up with, well, what was the lesson behind slavery? Like, how do you benefit from that? Well, we're a more stronger and resilient people because of it. It was inspiring to see people persevere through things like that and compare it to what we have now. It's
Mhm.
like go, go, go. If they did it, we can do it, type stuff. And it was very hard for him to accept that, and I understand why. But I want to get your take on like how people might be in their own way when it comes to these type of ideas, because you work with open-minded people.
Mhm. Well, a lot of the ideas, especially as you're first introduced to them, uh, when we have our belief systems and stuff that we are believing right now, when things contradict that, we automatically have like a fight or flight response. We either fight it or we'll like try to run away from it, which is again like a fight in a way. And as we're doing that, we're not actually facing the issue, which is actually we can look at this issue in a new perspective. And if the moment we accept that reality that we can look at it, that's when it's open to you and you can have new possibilities. But
Mhm.
the hardest thing to do is get someone to say, hey, look at your issue and then say, okay, what are the things that we can pick apart at this that allows us to see it in a new lens? Like, is it a person? Is it an event? Is it like, what can we take apart from this to start seeing other possibilities? And
Right, right.
that's really the hardest thing to start getting people to do, though, is get them to be comfortable enough to allow themselves to do that, though.
Yeah,
But how
that's
about yourself, though? Because that keeps coming back to perspective again. And I know, as a perspectivist,
yeah.
or sorry if I said that wrong,
Perception,
perspectivist,
perception.
receptionist.
Yeah.
Yeah, perceptionist. I'm sure, you have a lot of different insight that you can give people as they're coming to you with their problems. And what's like a common thing that, you often see that you deal with
Well,
people?
see, for me, I think it's a little bit different. I mean, I have a little bit more resistance and friction with the free content. The content that's available for everybody. The people that I actually work with, they're invested in themselves. They already are aware that there's certain perception shift that they need to make if they want to reach their goals. So, when we talk, it's easy peasy. Let's pick this apart. Let's feel the pain. Let's get in there. Let's get past this, right? But
Hmm.
I think what you were touching on was like a two-step thing. What I was hearing was that in order to get past something, you first need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable long enough to at least look at it. And I
Hmm.
think people don't even get that far. A lot of people don't even get that far. They're automatically affected by what happens. They feel the thing, they run away from the pain. They never look at the issue. If you never look at the issue, you never get the chance to do step two, which is pick it apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I use this? How
Hmm.
can I look at this in a different way that might relieve my suffering or might actually propel me forward, you know? Um, and that's something that has been very powerful for me personally, is being able to feel the thing. You got to feel to heal, right?
Hmm.
And without that, I'm not able to really absorb the whole of it. Like, I get a little tip of it and then run the other way. So I lean into that stuff. And when it comes to starting a business, I think it's probably the number one thing that you want to learn to do, because there's so many moving variables for an entrepreneur. You don't have a set paycheck,
Right.
every single week. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed anyway. But as an entrepreneur, you putting yourself on the line. So emotional intelligence and a relationship with yourself becomes the number one thing you need to work on as an entrepreneur. And that's what you help
Mhm.
people with. What is it like to work with you?
To work with me?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'd say from what I hear from my clients and my mastermind, mostly being the greatest feedback I can have, right? Um, every day is a new idea. So, because personally, like we were saying, how repetition is everything, and all the time I'm just I've reread or re-listened to Think and Grow Rich at least 15, 16 times. But every time I do, it gives me brand new ideas with new perspective on like what's going on today. And so, you know, even if you come with with a different issue, say tomorrow, or the same issue tomorrow, I might have a completely new insight for you, some completely new that we can hit it at. So, if you ever need any sort of insight, whether it be just, hey, I need a new perspective on this idea, that's what it's like to work with me. You're gonna right now.
That's dope. How can we get connected with you?
All right. Well, best way to connect with me is through my website, tylerswellness.com. I have a contact page on there, but we also have all of the social media, which is Tyler's Wellness, on all handles, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Well, I said TikTok already. But yeah,
Yeah,
those are my handles and everything.
for sure. And those are gonna be listed down in the bio below, of course. Um, where do we get to go now? What is important for people to know right now for you?
Right now, the best thing I can tell everybody out there is no matter what is going on right now in your life, there is another way that we can look at it. And the moment you decide that you want to make a change, the moment you decide that you're going to prioritize yourself, is the moment that you're going to make that move, that shift. And when you're ready to, we're ready to help you.
That's powerful. That's dope. Yes, indeed. We got Tyler's Wellness here. Tyler Campbell, thank you so much for coming to speak with us today. I think that it is appropriate to end on that note. I know that we could talk about it forever, but that was just so powerful that I wanted to land. You know what I'm saying? So I want to encourage everybody listening right now to go ahead and reach out, get connected, get this support, and level the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, bro. And and to everybody listening, as always, love, love, be well. Don't forget to have the guts to follow your guts. Peace.